I designed and built a plate reverb, which is an analog piece of music equipment used in the studios of the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
This is an analog plate reverb system.
It's based around the reflective qualities of a steel plate. I had to learn how to weld, and then I had to learn how to wire circuits. Both of these parts combined allowed me to put the thing together and eventually use it in my home studio. The frame looks like a bed frame, right? It's 1.5 inch steel tubing, so it's really strong. You could probably put a car on it and it wouldn't crush. And inside of it, you have a steel plate that you tension really, really tight. And in the middle of the plate, or off-center on the plate, you have a loudspeaker that you alter so that it drives the plate the same way it would drive the speaker cone. Whenever the speaker moves, the speaker vibrates, so does the plate. At the same frequency, the same rate as the speaker would. It bounces off the sides and creates all this wave interference on the surface of it, giving you that reverberation equality that you would get if you stood inside a cathedral. So what you do is you send audio through your speaker or transducer, and it takes the sound waves and transfers them to the plate, and they travel across the plate and they bounce around and they hit the edge, and that's when they bounce back into each other, and then they hit waves that are coming back again, and it's a big like wave party. And then here, these are another set of transducers, basically outputs that take the mechanical signal on the plate and convert it back into an electrical signal, which goes back to my another 2 circuits that I built that convert it into a compatible audio signal for a mixing board or recording studio. That mechanism is encased in a wooden box, and that helps isolate it from outside sound. Mechanically, it's pretty straightforward, but the circuits were the hard part, but also the fun part for me, because I want to go to school for electrical engineering. So for me to be able to like get some schematics that I found online and then they don't really work, so I end up designing my own. I ended up learning a lot of working principles of analog audio signal processing.
It's there. Yeah, it's probably terrible.
Analog electronics are kind of a dying art form because what I did do for my project can be simulated by a computer and by one little tiny part of a chip in the computer. You don't need anything nearly that complicated. And so the analog circuitry is kind of becoming less and less used. Since I built it, there's no other reverb in the entire world that'll sound like this one. When they were taking apart Motown records, they opened up their plate reverb and noticed that one of the corners was loose. So that was the authentic Motown Records reverb sound. They just didn't tune one of their corners.